Okay, so have you ever pictured yourself like in one of those rooms, the ones where global decisions are being made, not just watching, but like actually there at the table shaping international policy?
Yeah,
Well, think of this deep dive as your like all access pass to making that a reality.
I like it.
We're going deep on the Future Diplomats Forum 2025 in Washington, D.C. And let me tell you, this is not your average conference.
It's definitely next level. Yeah, more like a launch pad for, the next generation of like diplomatic rock stars, if you will.
I love that.
And we're not talking just empty promises here. The Hedwig Institute of Strategic Alliance, ASI, they're behind it, and they bring serious weight.
Right, I saw. They're known for their heavy hitters. We're talking alumni who've gone on to advise presidents and negotiate those international treaties, even start their own NGOs, like really shaking things up.
Yeah, they make moves.
On the world stage. So when they say they're fully funding 20 participants,
Wow.
and then partially supporting another 100, they're serious about finding those future leaders.
Absolutely. And I think what's really remarkable is the diversity they're looking for. It's not just, who has the most impressive like resume or anything.
Right.
They want students, young professionals, seasoned diplomats, anyone with like a real passion, for global affairs, and who has the potential to make a real impact.
So it's not about having the fancy degree. It's about that fire in your belly.
Yeah, that drive.
Okay, I like it. But speaking of perks, let's be real. Getting flown to D.C., all expenses paid, staying in a really nice hotel.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Okay, the perks are definitely a bonus. I'll give you that.
For sure.
But imagine this. You're attending a workshop on, let's say, conflict resolution, right? And leading that workshop is a former ambassador to the UN.
Wow.
Like, that's the kind of invaluable real-world experience you can't get from a textbook.
Okay, you've got my attention. Forget the free coffee. I want to pick the brain of someone who's been there, done that, on the world stage.
Exactly.
That's priceless.
It's not just theoretical. We're talking behind-the-scenes tours of places like Congress and the Supreme Court. You'll see firsthand how diplomacy shapes policy.
Wow.
How those high-level negotiations actually go down.
Okay, I'm sold. So let's say someone listening is thinking, all right, sign me up. How do I even begin to stand out in this crowd?
Right.
What is HISA really looking for in an applicant?
They want to see passion, yes, but also a clear vision.
Okay.
Why this forum? Why diplomacy? What impact do you specifically want to make on the world? This is your chance to connect the dots between your experiences and your aspirations. It's like you're crafting a story,
Right.
your own diplomatic narrative.
I like that.
Think of it like this. You're not just filling out an application. You're like writing the opening chapter
Okay.
of your journey as a global change maker.
I love that. But I know from experience that sometimes getting those words on paper, it can be a little daunting,
Yeah.
Any tips on how to really make an application sing?
Don't be afraid to get personal. Share a specific experience that made you passionate about, international affairs. Maybe it was a volunteer trip, a conversation with someone from a different culture.
Right.
Maybe even just like a news story that you saw that really moved you.
Yeah, it's about showing, not just telling, right? Giving them a glimpse into what makes you tick.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of concrete examples. Let's say you led a team project or organized some kind of event on campus or whatever.
Yeah.
Those demonstrate leadership.
Right.
And initiative, qualities that HISA really values.
So it's not about being a superhero or anything, but about showcasing those moments where you stepped up, you took charge, you made things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to see that spark, that drive to make a difference however you can.
Right.
Now, I know thinking about, the competition can be intimidating.
For sure.
We're talking about a really selective forum, incredible opportunities.
You're going to have some really impressive candidates
in
the running. But I always say focus on your lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This isn't about being the best. It's about being your best.
I couldn't agree more. Highlight what makes you unique.
Yeah.
Your perspective, your own experiences, because ultimately they're not looking for just like carbon copies of each other, right?
Right.
They want a diverse group of future leaders with different strengths and different experiences.
And speaking of timelines, this whole application process, it's not something you want to leave to the last minute?
Definitely not. No, the deadline, January 20th, 2025, that might seem far off.
Right.
But trust me, crafting a really good application takes time.
Yeah.
And thought, so start brainstorming now, jot down ideas, reach out to mentors, get some feedback. You'll be grateful you did.
And hey, sometimes those late night brainstorming sessions with a friend, those turn to pure gold.
Absolutely.
You know, two heads are better than one, especially when those deadlines are looming.
Yeah, for sure. And remember, this journey is about more than just getting accepted.
Okay.
The process itself, the self-reflection,
Right.
the research,
Yeah.
articulating your goals, that's invaluable.
It's like that saying, sometimes the journey teaches you more than the destination. It really is. And speaking of discoveries, let's talk about the forum itself. 4 days.
Yeah.
Jam-packed with workshops, panel discussions, networking events. It's like
It's intense.
Disneyland for aspiring diplomats.
I like that analogy. But in all seriousness, imagine diving deep on critical issues.
Right.
Things like global governance, conflict resolution, international trade.
Right.
And not just in theory, but through these really interactive workshops.
Yeah.
Simulations led by people who are actually, experts in those fields.
And let's not forget about networking. I mean, you're rubbing elbows with diplomats.
Oh, yeah.
Policymakers from around the world.
For sure.
Those opportunities alone could be life-changing.
You're not just gaining all this knowledge. You're building relationships with future colleagues, mentors,
Yeah.
maybe even future presidents. Who knows?
Right. The possibility.
You might find yourself debating solutions over coffee with someone who's shaping global policy.
Okay, now you're just making me want to apply even more. And I can't forget to mention that insider's tour of Congress and the Supreme Court, seeing those places in person, feeling the weight of history.
It's pretty amazing.
Talk about a crash course in how diplomacy actually plays out in the real world.
Yeah, it's all about connecting the dots, right?
Yeah.
From theory to practice, from the halls of power to the human impact, of those decisions. It's a really immersive experience. It's designed to not just, inform, but inspire you to act.
So for anyone listening who feels that pull, that spark towards making a real difference on that global scale, what's the final takeaway? What should they do right now?
Simple. Head over to the ISO website. Don't just think about it. Do it.
Yeah.
This is your chance to invest in yourself, really hone your skills, connect with a global network of change makers. The deadline's January 20th, 2025.
Yeah.
Might seem far away, but the time to start is now.
Because the world needs your passion, your ideas, your unique perspective. This isn't just about adding a line to your resume. It's about becoming a part of a generation that's shaping a better future for everyone. So what are you waiting for? Go make it happen.
Go for it.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.